What would a doctor discover if they lived with you 24 hours a day?
Hello.
Hello. We're Carol. Come and meet the doctor.
How much would you be willing to reveal?
Hello.
I'm scared that I may get bullied for how I look and my weight.
I feel like I'm drugged.
But Nicola, you're right, you are drugged.
Would they be shocked by what they find?
Nobody's explained to her, in language that she understands, how to manage her condition. It's not acceptable.
Most GPs only get about 10 minutes with each patient. Dr. Rangan Chatterjee wants to try a different approach.
All the time in my consultation room, I'm seeing problems that are lifestyle problems. And they don't need a pill, they need a lifestyle change.
He's about to spend time with families who struggle with their health.
Everything they've tried has basically failed.
He'll gain insight into every aspect of his patients' lives.
How do they eat? How do they sleep? How do they move and exercise? And how do they sort of switch off and relax?
He'll detect undiagnosed illnesses.
It probably puts you at high risk of early death.
Deliver some home truths.
I think this fear is holding you back.
Please don't turn it into this is because I'm mentally fearful.
And discover ways we could all live longer, healthier lives.
It's amazing how many times when you get those basics right, all the other problems get so much better.
Feeling good, energy up. I can even dance.
She's at
You
your
have a dance together?
I forgot the poo bags. Right, come on in. Let's go. Go.
Tonight, Rangan will meet two families blighted by illness. The first are the Gleesons from Wirral near Liverpool. Dad, 35-year-old Trevor.
Here you go, grab him for me.
13-year-old Gina Louise.
No, don't chew your hair. Don't chew my hair. What's wrong with chewing your hair? Everything.
Marley, who's 12. And Mum, 34-year-old Emma.
I'd explain you as an overprotective, but really energetic. Energetic, but overprotective. And it's like nice to see you how much you love us, but sometimes it's just a bit like,
Too much.
calm down.
Yeah, well, you never know whether it's kidnapping or paedophile, that's all I'm saying.
Emma's been suffering from severe anxiety, panic attacks and depression since she was 19.
It's escalated over the years, and I can have 3 or 4 a day, so it varies, it just depends, and it's been quite hard to deal with. It affects our family life, what we can do as a family, and the kids have seen them as well, which must be really scary for them, if their mum's screaming in terror.
No one wants to see the strongest figure in their life sad or upset, or see them, I don't want to say weak, but not in their usual state, really.
She's trying to stop herself from having panic attacks like every day now, or a few times a day.
I feel like I'm unfixable, I just feel like I'm a big mess.
No, you'll be fine. Come here. You'll be fine. Don't worry. We're all right, okay?
In the surgery, it can be really difficult managing patients with anxiety because you don't have much time and there are so many different causes. It's very, very hard to get to the bottom of it in just a few minutes.
Emma has been battling anxiety for 15 years, but her symptoms are getting worse and she's now at breaking point. She's turned to Dr. Rangan Chatterjee for help. He'll devote the next 2 months trying to get to the root of the problem.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you guys? You well?
Very well, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, obviously not great, because that's why you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have to really sort of spend a bit of time together, and really try and understand what's going on. So,
Of course,
And try and fix us.
Absolutely, I'll try my best. I'll try my best. Certainly, the more information I can get, the more it helps me.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what happens when you have a panic attack?
Just an immense fear of death. It's just an overwhelming, horrible fear right in the pit of my stomach. And I can either try and control it and shake instead, or I can just end up screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming.
So what happens in all of the panic attacks is that you have this fear that you're going to die.
Is the thing. I can't go too far.
You're gonna go.
Because I don't want to start screaming in front of everyone, but it's just that, what happens after you die. I wish I could just die for 10 minutes so I could know and then come back.
Yeah.
And you already have?
I didn't
It's like the
die.
thing.
I didn't die.
She was in intensive care in a coma for a while.
Yeah.
And that might have had something to do with it.
That's got everything to do with it.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, when I was 19, I had pneumonia, which instantly sent me into panic mode because my nan's husband had not long died from pneumonia. Then they had to take me into intensive care, and I think I was out for about 3.5, 4 weeks, and then woke up with a tracheotomy thing in.
Sounds really quite terrifying and likely to be hugely significant here.
Anxiety is one of the most common mental health problems in the UK. It's thought that around 1 in 20 people are living with generalised anxiety.
I've got the same thing, but they're in different bags.
To help her cope, Emma takes antidepressants.
The citalopram's definitely helped with my mood, because before I had that, I was an absolute mess, wasn't I?
One of your doctors has in the past referred you to a counsellor.
Well, I've seen a few counsellors.
You've seen a few counsellors, but you've found it not very useful.
I've never seen it through. With this whole fear of death thing, I'm scared that I'll go to it and they'll say, well, you're just going to have to face up to it, aren't you? And that's what I'm scared of, someone saying that to me. So I've gone. And further to the fact that they give me the thing and say, you make the appointment. I'll tell you that I'm going to make the appointment, but I'm not going to make the appointment.
Rangan wants to find out how the rest of the family are affected by Emma's condition.
What are you guys up to?
We're just hanging out, really.
And what are the main things you would like me to help your mum with?
Her panic attacks, because it makes us a bit apprehensive when we're, like, say, at school or, in my dad's instance, at work, because we never know if she's 100% okay.
She doesn't really know how to take her mind off it unless she is at home and she can tell us that she's not feeling great or she is close to having a panic attack.
And you're able to, like, you're the only one there, but you know how to handle it. Has that happened before?
I was going to her work with her, and it was on the bus there, and she got a bit stressed, and I just calmed her down. There got a few glances off people on the bus, but I didn't care as long as she was okay.
Understanding Emma's routine could give Rangan valuable information.
How often she comes to the shop, normally?
Well, for beer, it'd be daily.
Daily, every day, right?
Yeah.
So they know you in there?
That's central.
How much do you drink?
It depends what day it is. So you have Monday, Tuesday will be 2 cans of beer.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday is normally a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Thursday, bottle of wine. Friday, 2 cans of beer, bottle of wine. Saturday, 2 cans of beer and a bottle of wine. And Sunday, a few beers or a couple of glasses of wine.
OK. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was trying to clock it up, and it's not far off 60 to 70 units a week. And the government actually recommend, and the NHS recommend, that we don't drink more than 14 units per week. So 4 to 5 times over. So it is a lot. So, OK, you normally have Prosecco or Cava. 3 lots of that, so about 12 of those, 5 of these. Yeah, OK. You've got problems with anxiety, OK? And when you drink alcohol, alcohol increases the level of a chemical in our brains called GABA. And GABA actually dampens down things in the brain, slows the way our brain cells talk to each other. So actually, if you're feeling anxious and you have a glass of Prosecco, in the short term, it's going to make you feel better. The more you drink, the more alcohol you then need to have the same effects, because you become a little bit tolerant to the alcohol.
It made me feel like I was an alcoholic. It made me feel a little bit upset.
Oh. No, I'm just trying to explain what's going on at the moment.
Okay.
I do understand why you've started, because in the short term, it will be like a crutch and it will calm you down.
Yeah.
But in the long term, it just makes the problem worse.
Yeah.
Emma also drinks 2 litres of caffeine-filled Diet Coke every day and relies on nicotine.
How often do you have takeaways every week?
2 or 3. It's just easier.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously it's not ideal, but at the same time, it's just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. Everyone's happy, eat your food. Then let's start doing bedtime routine. So,
Yeah.
So she's got her chips, cheese and gravy. Oh my God, you're doing much more than you should do.
No, it's fine. My pleasure. Where are we going? And whose is this? Melted. Oh, that's yours. Sorry, I'm walking off with it. Some tortillas.
Nachos. With refried beans and sour cream and There's like little bits of coriander and onions and stuff.
As a GP in standard surgery, there's just no way you could get to the bottom of this. It's just simply not going to be possible. And now that I've got more time and I'm starting to pick things up, frankly, I am so far outside my comfort zone, I cannot even tell you. There is so much information coming in. I actually don't know what I'm going to do with it all.
In the morning, Rangan commutes with Emma to Liverpool city centre, where she works as a PA. He wants to see if he can identify potential triggers for her anxiety.
Okay, took it around here, and this is where my office is, around here.
Hey guys, how you doing? All right? Yeah,
this is
good.
Phil.
Hey Phil. Rangan, nice to meet you. How you doing? All right?
And that's Peter.
Hey Peter. Rangan, how you doing? All right, nice to meet you. Is there anything you do on the computer or on the phone that can ever make you anxious or panicky?
Only if I go on to like the news pages and like someone's been murdered or something and it's a horrible story, then I'll start thinking.
Yeah. Have you guys seen any of this at all?
Yeah, you mentioned space, death.
Yeah.
Anything that is outside of just the realms of average day to day, and Missy has a panic attack.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. Or stop talking about it or something.
I feel like I am about to go and have a proper panic attack. I'll either go and speak to him or I'll just leave and go and try and calm myself down. I've got up and walked out a couple of times. If we're having a terrible day and I'm having a meltdown, this is where I'd go for me wine. Right, let's go and get some emergency wine, reevaluate the situation, and then go back to work in a little bit of a calmer state.
So they're quite understanding. They know that actually you can sometimes get quite anxious and panicky, so you need to sometimes come and the wine helps you calm down.
Yeah, it takes the edge off that feeling.
In Britain, people who experience anxiety or depression are twice as likely to be heavy drinkers.
I'll tell you how I see things that are going on with you, Emma. I know that you have said to me that what happened at 19, that whole experience, is a big part of this. But I think since then, in order to try and deal with those symptoms, you've probably started to do things that actually are making that a lot worse. Does that make sense?
Go on.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm saying is that I think that was a significant incident. And what that did is probably cause you to have a lot of anxiety attacks and these panic attacks. But then because of those panic attacks, I think you needed to do things to help you cope with them. And I think the things that you're using to cope are actually driving the panic attacks to be worse. And I think it's a vicious cycle that you're in now. I think it's going to be very, very hard to unwind this these whole patterns that you've got going on in you. I don't think your body's in a state where we can even tackle that just yet. The two things are what you're eating and how much you're drinking. So this is the sort of food that is not going to be ideal, because this is going to put you on a blood sugar roller coaster.
It's full of sugar and yeah.
Yeah, it is. And if your blood sugar goes low, okay, just a smidgen low, your body goes back in fight or flight. You release something called cortisol, which is a stress hormone. You release adrenaline. And actually alcohol will do this as well, okay, because it spikes your blood sugar and then you crash. That will drive you more into fight or flight. So we want a diet for you that actually stabilises your blood sugar.
Rangan wants Emma to stop eating sugar, processed foods, and slowly reduce the amount she drinks by nearly 75%.
What do you think, Emma?
I feel like I'm doing it to myself.
Oh, you're not. You'll be all right.
Like, that's what I didn't want to hear. That you'd be fine if you weren't drinking too much and eating shit.
It's hard to eat. You know, you're not eating sweets and you're not eating, you know what I mean?
No, it's not that. It's just like, it's like
normal
none of this
people
would be
eat.
happening if I wasn't doing that.
It's not about blame. I do not think you're doing this to yourself. I absolutely understand why you're doing this. I'm not criticising, I promise you. I would, you know, what I'm asking for is to see if you're willing, and if you are willing, then we can reassess in 7 days, reassess in 10 days and see actually, has it made any difference? Or has it not? You know? And normally it makes a big difference. That was really, really intense. I feel quite drained actually just from that conversation. I'm sort of tread on eggshells a little bit because I'm feeling that I can't say what I need to say because I think Emma feels as though I'm blaming her, and I'm genuinely not blaming her. I do understand why she's making the choices she's making, but I actually think that's a reflection of where she is. She is so locked into this fight or flight that actually whatever I say, she's taken that as being blame, that she's doing it to herself. And I actually think that's part of the problem. Yeah, I'll be back soon, all right.
All right, thank you so
very much. Take care, see you, bye.
See you now, bye.
I don't think changing me eating and drinking is going to change me fear. But
No,
he did say
that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, he said that's going to come further down the line, but this is to prepare the body really for that fight. Obviously, taking away Diet Coke, that's going to be a massive thing, because anyone who knows me knows that, like, I am basically a bottle of Diet Cola. So that I think that's going to be really, really hard.
In the meantime, Rangan travels to a second family where another parent is struggling to deal with everyday life. Sleaford in Lincolnshire is home to the Murray Hodcroft family. 11-year-old Ellie and Maeve, 9-year-old Charlie,
It might be chilly outside.
Mum 39-year-old Kelly,
Right, can you get?
and Dad 36-year-old James.
Ellie will be back soon. Now we can get on with our day.
Mum and Dad run an IT business together and study in further education. They've called the doctor for James's unexplained exhaustion.
When you see your partner at kind of 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, barely able to keep their eyes open, and you know they're not having quality of life, it's quite upsetting.
James eats healthily, exercises regularly, but struggles to sleep.
At night, I can go into a fever. I just sweat profusely literally from the top of my scalp to the soles of my feet.
Sweats like somebody's thrown a bucket of water on him, which isn't pleasant to sleep next to at all. And he also he struggles with breathing sometimes through the night, which wakes me up. So he takes a lot of inhales but doesn't actually exhale at all until his breathing has stopped altogether, and then kind of splutters a little bit and starts again. But it's quite scary to be woken up like that.
James's lack of sleep has taken a toll on his life.
Can't explain how every single day of life for 20 years plus has felt just like wading through treacle. You can't get doctors to listen. If doctors don't listen, nobody around you's going to bloody listen either. No. You know, nothing's wrong with you. If there was something wrong with you, you'd be on drugs, you'd be on medication, you'd be seeing specialists, you'd be referred for this, you'd be, you know, there would be something on paper somewhere to explain, actually, you're not lazy, you're not just lethargic.
When patients feel fobbed off by the doctor, it can be incredibly frustrating as a doctor because, you know, the time constraints mean that often we can't actually delve into why that is. But actually it's more frustrating for the patients because they're the ones who feel fobbed off.
James wants Rangan to solve the mystery of why exhaustion has ruled his life for the last 20 years.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, I'm Dr. Chatterjee.
Hi, I'm James.
Hi, James.
Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. So you've known inside you for a while.
Yes.
Something ain't quite right.
Yeah.
You've done what is a reasonable thing to do, which is you're a busy guy, but you found time to go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
Flag a few of these things up.
You go to your doctor and you say, you know, I'm tired, I'm sweating at night profusely. I stop breathing when I'm asleep. And they just basically say, there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Go home, and if it happens again, come back. Well, I've been doing that for years.
And how do you feel about that? Now
I'm pretty bitter.
Is that it? That's how you feel?
I'm quite bitter.
You don't look as someone who is out of shape, right?
No.
So doctors are already probably thinking, yeah, he's in decent shape.
Rangan begins looking for clues that could point to the cause of James's illness.
Yeah, so this is just a very, very brief exam. I just want to see if I can pick anything else up, okay? Take your pulse. Listen to your heart. Deep breath in, please. Your blood pressure. Okay, that's a little bit elevated. It's 144/93. Your history is making me concerned that you may have sleep apnea, or the full term is obstructive sleep apnea. There's an obstruction in your airway, which is basically meaning that you stop breathing at regular intervals whilst you're asleep. What's happening is every time you have an episode where you stop breathing, it can often be the equivalent of you going from sea level up to base camp at Mount Everest, back and forth 10 times in an hour. That's the strain it's putting on your body.
Okay.
Oxygenation.
Oxygenation, yeah. Does that make it a bit clearer?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
And that potentially might explain why you're so tired sometimes in the day.
Yeah.
Rangan spends the evening with the family to see James's symptoms firsthand.
He looks exhausted to me.
Yeah, so this is actually quite normal for James to be this tired. He would quite happily go to bed with the kids. So at
Really?
8 o'clock. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes just to have a partner on the evening, I have to literally kind of, not beg him, but say, actually, I'd really like your company. Can you just stay awake a little bit longer?
Right. What I'd like to do for you is to have a look at exactly what's going on when you're asleep and see if we can come up with a proper diagnosis as to what these sleep issues are, and therefore that will help me determine what sort of treatment we need to give you.
Right, okay.
Rangan fits James with a device to record his breathing and heart rate throughout the night.
How does that feel?
Great.
Keep it on all night. We'll get this back to the sleep clinic tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll have some results very shortly.
Okay. Okay, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Sleep well. See you, Kelly. See you.
Through the night, the equipment will register if James's throat muscles relax to the point of collapse, blocking his airway for 10 seconds or more, which would indicate an episode of sleep apnea. A few days later, Rangan, James and Kelly head to London for the results of the sleep study.
I think James just wants to know what's going on so he can fix it. This is having such a massive impact on his life. You know, his ability to be a father, interaction with his children. I think he's really excited that we might actually get to the bottom of this today.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Yes, good, thanks.
Dr. Singh is the consultant in charge of the sleep clinic. He's analysed James's results.
It was a good study. So in spite of sort of concerns, and the study measured about 6 hours and 25 minutes. There were no episodes in this study where your airway closed down completely.
Right.
That means that actually this respiratory sleep study was a normal study, meaning that we can, with a degree of confidence, rule out obstructive sleep apnea.
Excellent.
Which is very good, and it's very important. We're not looking at sleep disordered breathing here.
Okay. So we've not only ruled out obstructive sleep apnea,
yes,
we've also ruled out other conditions that fall under the umbrella of sleep disordered breathing.
Yeah, in a sense, that's right.
But obviously we need to dig a bit deeper now and find out actually what is going on. Yeah, so how do you feel?
Joe, I'm not sure. Nothing's cut and dry, is it? There's no immediate answer right now. And I think that was one of the things that I was afraid of, you know, coming in today, was that there would be no immediate solution.
We're not closer to a solution. We're further away, so...
That's the problem, we're still kind of in limbo with it.
Yeah.
I think we are closer, Kelly, actually. I know closer in the sense that, you know, a few weeks ago, nothing was happening. This was just normality.
This was just something that we had to live with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little bit surprising. I did not really think that was going to be the outcome of the sleep clinic today. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing that James does not have sleep disorder breathing. I think that's brilliant. The question is, what does he have?
just in a really, really bad mood.
In Liverpool, Emma's struggling with Rangan's new diet.
And the last thing I want is stupid avocados for me dinner. I want pasty. It's so funny and stupid at the same time.
She's been battling anxiety and has been relying on a cocktail of antidepressants, alcohol, nicotine, caffeine and high-sugar foods.
Eating a big bar of chocolate and a pack of crisps would make me well happier right now than a bowl of healthy soup.
Rangan's very slowly trying to reduce her reliance on these substances.
Coke will close down if I stop drinking it.
But she's not finding it easy.
Crying over chocolate. Who cries over chocolate? Does anyone like chocolate?
I think that basically Emma lives in fight or flight. I think if I make one wrong move, she could lose faith in me, and I think the whole thing falls down then.
Rangan hopes that a lesson in nutrition might give Emma the motivation she needs.
The food that you eat can really affect your mood and how your brain operates, basically. And so I thought we could actually go through some of the foods that might help you. You know, healthy gut, healthy brain, basically.
It's hard. It's like your junk food's your friend, isn't it? When you're feeling down and it's like your go-to thing, so to replace it. I mean, I don't know, maybe it will make me feel better, so it's worth trying it.
Leafy green vegetables can actually basically drive the growth of good bacteria in your gut that can really help with your brain. So having things like cauliflower, broccoli, would you have foods like this?
Yeah.
What we got here? Cabbage. Look at that. That looks great to me.
I can see the snail marks on it though.
Why is it you don't like the snail marks?
It'd be like licking a snail's bum, wouldn't it? It just lets its stuff out as it goes along.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to hide that then, because we can wash that off. There's another chemical that we find in food that can be really helpful for our brain. It's called tryptophan. Okay, so tryptophan helps us make something called serotonin in our bodies. And serotonin is, you know, many scientists call it like a happy chemical in our brain. And there's certain foods, pork contains tryptophan. So would you ever eat pork?
Yeah.
Let me just go and grab something. Emma, would you ever eat things like this, sweet potatoes?
Yes.
Yeah, good, because if you have like a healthy form of carbohydrate, like sweet potatoes, it really helps you to absorb the tryptophan. Hey, here, Emma. Perfect. Okay, walnuts are like a double whammy, okay? Because walnuts contain omega-3 fats. So these are fats that we think are really good for our brain function, and we can't get them unless we take them in by our diets. Our bodies can't make them.
Okay.
Okay? So these are full of omega-3 fats, which is absolutely brilliant. The other thing they've got is tryptophan.
Yeah, no, I'd never made the connection before about like what you eat having any form of repercussion on your mood or anything like that. That's not something that I'd ever known, and especially all these fancy words that are in stuff that you just don't realise.
I don't think it's necessarily the whole story with you at all, but I think it's a great start. I wonder what Trevor will think when we come back with all this food.
You'll probably wonder where his chippy tea is.
Right, all done.
Rangan's diet plan is a world away from takeaway dinners and bottles of Diet Coke.
What are you cooking?
So I'm making tomato soup.
Emma perseveres with the diet.
I make like a chewy, soupy thing.
And Rangan keeps up the encouragement.
How have you been getting on this week?
If anything, I've been a little bit more anxious because I've taken the comfort blankets away.
Well, what's on my desk this week, Peter, that's unusual?
Pears and the water.
So I've got boiled eggs and homemade guacamole with chili flakes and stuff that I made last night so that I didn't have to spend any money. Yeah, getting good at this cooking life now.
By reducing her alcohol and changing her diet, Rangan is slowly preparing Emma for the next stage of her treatment.
I'd love to get her to talking therapy. The research would tell me to send her to a behavioural therapist, a cognitive behavioural therapist. But Emma, the patient's telling me she doesn't want that. So that's why I've had to go and research something else.
Instead of therapy, where Emma talks about her issues, Rangan wants to try an alternative treatment that combines massage with counselling.
You can, with some patients, actually help reduce stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline by physical touch. And Hayley's very skilled at that, and I thought it would be worth trying it, because then you don't have to think about things and talk about things, but we can see,
No, I'm willing to give it a go, because obviously I trust you. So it's just a case of going and doing it, but I've never had a massage anyway, so I'm scared of anything. I'm scared of new things.
You've basically been doing what I've asked you to do, which is substantially change your diet, substantially reduce how much you're drinking. That's fantastic, but I do think we need to do more. And let's go see Hayley and see if she may be someone who can help us.
Okay.
Yeah?
Rangan has brought Emma to meet Hayley Stevens.
This is Emma.
Hi, Emma.
She specialises in biodynamic massage.
Just want you to bring your awareness to your breath right now. I just want you to tell me what you notice. What do you notice about your breathing right now?
I don't know.
Okay. So...
I don't want to focus on my breathing too much because it'll remind me that I'm alive and that I can die and I'll have a panic attack, thanks.
Okay, so you don't want to focus on your breathing?
No, not really.
Okay. No. There's nothing here right now that is going on, that is happening, that is scary right now.
Yeah, the whole situation's scary because I've never been here and never done any of this, so of course it's scary.
It is, you know. What's happening on a day-to-day basis that you say, God, I'm afraid?
Yeah, well, anything that really reminds me that I'm alive, reminds me that I'm going to die.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm going to cry again often like this all week. I don't know what my issue is.
Okay. Can you just leave us for a few moments?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I don't think I really appreciated that even the small amount of chat that Hayley had to do with her was going to be too much. I thought at the very least today I would do no harm. And there was a short period where I thought, I'm not so sure. Have I eroded trust? Have I made things worse? If I don't find something soon that she's going to start responding to, I wonder how long that trust will last.
Emma leaves the session before the massage therapy even begins.
I felt like I'd let everyone down because everyone had like travelled all this way and it was all this big thing to like go for this massage, and then I said to her, I'm just too crazy for you. That's what it is. I'm not mentally well enough for her to start touching me and trying to get emotions out of me with massage.
All you can do is go back to the drawing board and think of something else, can't?
How about just some emotional support? How's that panel for you?
Yeah, and we can watch horror film in bed because you like them.
Yeah, again, but what about the emotional support side of things?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I'm not a big talker. But yeah, I can be there for you.
Mm-hmm.
No, you'll be fine. Come here. You'll be fine. Don't worry. Obviously today was a little bit disappointing for her, but now I've got to support her really more. What's happened today? It sort of brought emotions up and things that she might not want to talk about to me or to anyone. She'll probably get drunk tonight and just talk to me when she's just drunk, you know.
In Lincolnshire, Rangan is trying to get to the bottom of James's mysterious, debilitating exhaustion. He now knows it's not a sleep disorder, so he sent James for blood tests and is hunting for more clues in his daily routine.
I think James is still a little bit of a mystery because he's exhausted, he can't sleep, he wakes up in sweats, but he looks fit and well and he comes here all the time. But it's not normal for someone in their 30s to be like this. I need to keep digging, I think, and see, can I detect something else? Okay, your heart rate's 120, it's regular, what I'd call sort of good volume, good rates, nothing untoward from feeling your pulse.
With James appearing physically healthy, Rangan moves his investigation to his mental health.
So James, do you get anxious about things in general, would you say?
Yeah. I'm very, very good at covering it up because I have a tendency to not become sort of physically irate. Good at sort of keeping a calm voice and sort of approaching things from what appears to be a very level-headed perspective. But I am anxious about a lot of things.
Do you know where this comes from?
I've had some pretty unstable points in life. And...
What do you mean by that?
I ended up not a fixed address for a while.
So Were you sleeping on the streets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually I would find somewhere a bit prettier than a street. It would be a park, you know, somewhere...
so how long were you... So would you say you were homeless for a while?
Yeah, I was homeless for a while.
Just swim in this.
After a fallout with his parents, James found himself homeless in his late teens.
There were times when I had to sleep here and I would tuck myself away behind the shrubbery and basically put myself wherever I would be out of sight. But I did once get urinated on. Guy was drunk.
And do you think that sleeping in parks like this one has actually contributed to anxiety about yourself, anxiety about the next meal, and anxiety, just general anxiety in your life?
The problem is, it's kind of hard as the person in it to be able to say for sure. But I've described before, there are times when I've woken up feeling cold wind, and obviously I can't feel cold wind. I'm in a house, the heating's on, but there are times when I've woken up actually feeling like the cold wind is making my joints ache.
As if you're right here in this park?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I am still angry about it. I know I'm still angry about it, and I know I still have trouble justifying how it happened.
The period of time before you were homeless,
yeah.
Do you recall having sleep issues?
Vaguely.
Vaguely. But nothing on the level?
Nothing of that level.
So it's reasonable to think that anxiety induced by you being homeless for a period of time may be contributing to your sleep issues?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's logical.
But Rangan's research into James's anxiety is interrupted when he receives some disturbing blood results.
So I did a series of blood tests on you, and one of the markers is a little bit worrying, okay?
Right.
There's a marker called homocysteine, and homocysteine can be a risk factor for heart attacks and strokes if it is elevated.
Right.
Now, ideally we want to see it under 10. Yours is well above 30.
Wow. Right.
And that's very high, okay?
Yeah.
And homocysteine is an amino acid that we should metabolize and break down in our body, but for some reason that's not happening in you. So that's accumulating in your blood, and whilst that is elevated, it can damage your blood vessels, which in long term can then put you at increased risk of a heart attack or a stroke.
Would that be could that be the way it is because of the mini stroke James had when he was younger?
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I woke up one day feeling very much like I had a hangover, and after living with that for about 4 weeks, went to the doctor. It was implied that I may have had a TIA.
A TIA, or mini stroke, is when blood to the brain is temporarily disrupted. In the UK, there are nearly 50,000 new cases every year.
So 14 years ago, you had this incident for a few weeks that the doctors are saying it may well have been a mini stroke.
Yeah, that was really all they could put it down to.
Okay, and since then, in this 14-year period, has anything like that ever happened again?
I've had a lot of sort of physical ups and downs, haven't I?
In the last few months you've had, we put it down to low blood pressure, where he would go, you could see the blood drain from his face, and he was very lightheaded, and we went to the doctors and they kind of dismissed that part of it.
The blood test flagged something up for me, his history flagged something up for me, but now that I've reported it back and gone into it in depth with him, there's so much more then. He may have had a mini stroke when he was 21, I didn't know that. That is hugely significant. I am worried about him, really worried that he is a walking time bomb.
With this new information, Rangan immediately begins further research.
So James is a 36-year-old male. Extreme fatigue, sleep quality is very poor, significant night sweats, breathing issues at night, a mini stroke when he was 21 years old.
Very high for someone of that age.
Rangan decides the most urgent step is to lower his very high homocysteine levels to reduce the risk of him having a stroke. After consulting professors of pharmacology, he decides to use a combination of powerful vitamins.
What I've got for you is a supplement that actually contains a few things, okay? It contains B12, which is a vitamin. It contains vitamin B6, and it contains folate, okay? And they're all interlinked with pathways in the body that can generate energy, that can potentially be linked with a risk for heart attacks or strokes. And so I want you to take these and see if by supplementing these nutrients in your body, whether it changes the way that you feel.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. It can't make me worse. So
yeah. And I just think maybe this could be part of the puzzle with what you've been struggling with for the last, 10, 15 years. This could be part of the puzzle.
Rangan gives James a combination of B vitamins, including 400 times the recommended daily dose of vitamin B12.
Two rump steaks.
Yeah.
2 chicken breasts. I'll text it to you.
Emma's visit to the therapist ended in failure, and Rangan was concerned she'd lost faith in him. But she's persevering with his diet and reducing her alcohol.
Hello, Dr. Scott. It's Dr. Chatterjee here.
Oh, hi.
Rangan is still searching for another treatment that could help her.
I'm going to talk to lots of different therapists, really get an understanding what they're going to offer, what their strategy is, and also try and make a judgment of who I think Emma's going to get on with.
He speaks with psychiatrists, psychologists, and experts in anxiety.
I'm trying to find someone to help her deal with what happened, but in a way that is consistent with what she wants also. We can say a patient has tried cognitive behavioural therapy, but what does that actually mean? Have they seen a good therapist, first of all?
He draws up a short list.
Got a good feeling about this. I've got a feeling that actually what you're offering may be exactly what Emma needs. Hey, how you doing? All right?
Hi,
yeah, good to see you. Okay.
Yeah, come in.
How are the panic attacks at the moment?
I've had more over the last couple of weeks than I was having. I don't know, that might just be because my brain is more clear and I can hear the little thing that keeps saying things to me.
I'm really very, very proud of what you have done. I think it's amazing. But I think we do need to think about how am I going to get you some sort of therapy to help you. I've sort of spoken to quite a lot of people and I've narrowed it down to about 3 people who I think offer something very different. And I'd be very keen for you to chat to them and see what you think. So should we go to call number 1?
Okay.
But just before they start, Emma gets cold feet.
I don't want to be a pain.
I mean, you're not going to be a pain, and this is not about being a pain, okay? It doesn't matter. This has been, you have to stop worrying about being a pain, okay? I'm here to try and help you, okay? So the people I've found are with that in mind. If I haven't found someone who you can relate to, that's okay.
Okay.
Hi, yeah, nice to see you too. This is Emma.
Hi, Emma.
Emma, this is Charlotte. Emma, this is Steve. Steve, Emma.
Hiya.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
Emma, Heather, Emma.
Hiya.
I've worked with about 5,500 people.
After an afternoon of talking with the therapist, Emma chooses Charlotte Copeland.
I liked her. She talks like a normal person, and some of the stuff she said made sense.
For the first time in 15 years, Emma has found a therapist she wants to speak to.
This has been a good day. It's probably the first time that I've actually really felt that, yeah, you know what, we're moving in the right direction. I'm hopeful at the moment. I'm optimistic, but I'm cautious.
A few days later, Trevor and Emma are travelling to meet her new therapist, Charlotte.
So you're looking forward to this, or what? Are you excited about seeing this lady, or?
I wouldn't say excited. Like I said, I'm apprehensive, so it's because it's delving into the unknown, isn't it? And figuring out whether she can help me or what ways that she'll come up with to try and help me.
You're not going to talk about, like, you know, your deepest, darkest feelings and stuff like that. It's going to be just assessing each other, basically, innit?
Hi.
Hiya.
You okay?
You must be Emma.
Yes.
Right.
It might work and it might not, we don't know. It's just something that she's going to have to try. Obviously, Rangan thinks that it might be the right thing for her to do.
Emma and Charlotte spend over an hour in their first session together, and there's a significant diagnosis.
Emma clearly has post-traumatic stress disorder, and she meets all of the criteria for that. There has to be an event that's significant that we feel our life, or somebody that's significant to us, their life was under threat. It has to be traumatic, an unusual event. Emma falls into that category of our mood changes, so our behaviour changes. We either feel numb or we do things to numb ourselves, like drink, for instance. This isn't in her imagination. It's very real and very treatable.
Where's your glass?
Post-traumatic stress disorder is thought to affect 1 in 3 people who've had a traumatic experience. Once diagnosed, talking therapy is often the best treatment.
She gave me that thing where I felt she wouldn't just like have me in bits and let me walk out on the street.
No.
And she even said that herself. And other places, I've messed my brain up. You've seen what I've come home from, like them 10 times worse. So I don't know. I'd like to be able to see her.
Yeah. See if she can do a Saturday, so I can take her and bring her back.
Or we could just kidnap her and keep her downstairs.
In Lincolnshire, James is taking high-strength vitamin B supplements.
So, Rangan has put me on these pills.
Rangan's hoping to cure James's chronic fatigue.
It has made a difference, hasn't it?
Oh, huge.
It's this isn't just in my mind. This is massive.
His symptoms are disappearing.
I'm sleeping well. I'm waking up well. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm staying awake throughout the day.
But Rangan's surprised by the speed of his recovery. He retests James's blood and checks the results with leading professors in vitamin B and homocysteine.
His homocysteine level was nearly 35. It was 34.53. I mean, that's one of the highest I've ever seen, actually. I gave him a supplement which contained B12 and folate, and I never expected such a dramatic improvement.
We would guess that it's probably mainly the B12. Have you measured the homocysteine again?
That's actually just come back. I'm just checking out. It's just come back, and his homocysteine has come back at 7 now.
Oh, that's lovely. That's fantastic. I wish I had 7.
Well, look, thank you very, very much for your time, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. How you guys getting on?
It really has snowballed. It's been an incredible transformation, really. The changes have been happening almost daily, and they are so profound. I can't ignore them.
But I'm hoping to provide some answers for you. Why such a dramatic change? And so I've run some tests for you, okay, to try and work out what's been going on. So I did a genetic test for a particular pathway in your body, okay, that needs to function well for your body to function well. If that pathway is not working well in your body, it can actually work up to 70% slower. Right, so if this car is you, James, okay? Yep. And if you need to get to where you need to go, ideally, if you're on a motorway, you'd be going at about 70 miles an hour, right? You've got a genetic variation that means yours isn't going as fast. You are going, but you weren't functioning as well as you could have been functioning.
Yep. This makes sense, because there's sort of lots of things that I've been able to do just sort of trundling along. But actually, as time's gone on, and there has been more pressure, there have been more places to be, there's been more need, there's been more requirement for me to be more alert, for me to be more on top of things. I can't deal with it.
That's it.
And I physically can't deal with it.
The course of vitamin B has helped treat the genetic defect that was sapping James's energy. It's also reduced the chances of having a heart attack or stroke by lowering certain chemicals in his blood.
The other thing is, your homocysteine, when I started, was 34.5.
Yep.
That's very, very high. As I said, the highest I've ever seen. Okay, it's now down to 7. Okay.
That's normal. That's what it should be, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a massive relief. Felt like shit for 20 years.
Yeah.
Something as simple as a B vitamin, essentially.
Yeah, a combination of supplements.
It's actually a really simple fix.
It's remarkable.
I can't remember the last time I felt this well. I just wondered if I just couldn't cope with life, really.
No, let's go. Let's hit the beach.
It's been a long time since we've been to the beach, and to be honest, last time you actually took a photo when I fell asleep on the sand.
All right, well, let's go and do it without falling asleep, all right? This one.
It's like a cool stone thing.
All right, one sec. Ah! What sort of differences have you noticed at home?
James isn't that tired anymore.
He's not that tired anymore?
No.
When we go to bed, he used to get really grumpy, but now he's a lot more playful. And I really want him to stay non-grumpy. I'm still young, and at least you haven't come like when I'm 20 and he's like really old.
James is a different man. It's like being given a gift. Life has been such a hard toil lately, and he's just filled with more positivity and vibrancy and energy. And
anyone fancy a race to the pier? Hey?
I've got a massive bag.
Right, guys, time for me to go.
Thank you for everything. And I hope we'll see you again. Not for the same reasons, obviously, but...
Yeah, thank you. Life-changing.
Okay, I don't know what it feels like to have lost the last 20 years in many ways. But I do know that actually this is the start for James. And actually the next 20 years could be very, very different from the last 20 for this guy.
Emma Gleeson has suffered from years of anxiety. She tried to suppress the feelings with alcohol, antidepressants and high-sugar foods that only made her symptoms worse. After 2 months with Emma and her family, Rangan is making one last house call.
What have you got in there?
They've got the beef bones, which all you got to do is give a little donation in the butchers and they just give you the beef bones. When I first asked for them, they thought they were for the dogs and they were like, it must be a big dog. And I was like, it's for me, because I'm making stock. I'm not a dog. So I've got onions, head of garlic, parsnips, carrots, rosemary, thyme, loads of salt and pepper.
It's amazing. So Emma, when I first came to see you, you were drinking, 60 to 70 units of alcohol a week. What are you having at the moment?
I've pretty much stuck to what I said I'd stick to. So wine on a Friday and a Saturday, nothing Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I normally have one on a Wednesday, nothing on a Thursday.
When you say one, what do you have, a glass?
Yeah, I just buy the 1 glass bottle because I don't need as much to drink anymore.
It's about 15 units a week.
So I'm nearly there.
Yeah, hey, let's look, compared to being nearly at 70 units a week, 60 to 70 units, it's going down to about 15 units a week. It's a massive reduction. You've seen Charlotte this week, haven't you, in person? Do you feel you do have a better understanding of actually how things have spiralled to this point?
Yeah.
And potentially how we may begin to unspiral it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And when I went to meet her, and I thought, she is possibly one of the only people that I would feel safe enough talking to about that kind of stuff. I think once you've lived with like anxiety and depression and all that stuff for so long, it's kind of hard to envisage. And I'm going, oh my God, make me so cry. But it's hard to imagine it life without that.
Yeah.
And like letting it go is hard as well because like you're used to living like that.
Can you imagine the possibility of life without this now?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm crying.
It's a big deal, isn't
Sorry.
it? No, but it's a big deal. You've been living with this for so long. And I think you'd almost given up, that actually there's... What did you say to me? I'm too ill to fix.
Yeah, too broken to fix.
Yeah, you're not too broken to fix. It doesn't mean it's easy, but you've started the process off now. You've started off the process to get yourself fixed. How's it going, all right?
It's not only Rangan who's impressed with the change in Emma.
I'm definitely proud of you, because that was one of the main things that I wanted you to change, was how much you did, like how much alcohol you consumed within like a space of a week. And I'm so glad that you've cut down to how much you're having now, and it's definitely made me happy.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you for it.
Thank you. I'm proud of me too.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah.
Cool. Me and Molly are like awkward now, aren't we?
Yeah. How is your big speech like, Mama?
You've done amazingly well. You really have. And it's been amazing for me to be part of that journey with you. And keep up. It's just the start. It really is.
Am I making you cry now?
Thank you so much.
It's just emotional.
Hey,
why are you looking
my
at
pleasure.
me? I mean it, thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks, Rangan.
Bye.
It's good jamming with you, and good that you sorted Emma.
Yeah, we're getting there, so you're on the right road, I think.
Process, but yeah.
I mean, something's changed. Something's really changed in Emma. She's got this strength, she's got resolve now. She can contemplate seeing a therapist now. This is a lady now who's got control of where her life goes. She doesn't have to be a slave to her illness. She can actually be its master. It's fantastic to see. I think the future looks really, really bright for Emma.
Next time, Rangan travels to London to help an 11-year-old schoolboy.
Get those hips moving, Mum!
Mystified by his weight problems.
It's about 11 stone 1.
That's how much I weigh.
And tries to help a teenager overcome an eating disorder.
You feel nervous before food time?
What's up? Just that I'm anxious about food, that's all.
She's not really trying to tackle this, and I don't want to botch this up. I really don't want to mess it up.